that helps. I take such care when I put this mic back that I don't accidentally turn it on because of the way the holder is. But shutting off my heater to get rid of extra noise. Okay, so what was I going to talk about? It's going to be something about Christmas vacation. I got some screens pulled up. I've been working on a story for a book that I would like to produce one day before I die. And I'm getting some great help from a lucid comic. And I've been going over a summary that he sent me. I don't know that I want to talk about it in a comprehensive sense right now because there's a lot of other stuff happening. I'm just going to go on to the next subject with sharing a screen. Yeah, but a lucid comic.
You know him.
Has been helping me. I don't want to say that I'm the one that's writing because it's a process that I'm not used to. So in my mind, there is a completely different set of etiquettes that comes with working with somebody else who is also creative, but in a way that's not yours, and you're delving into it. In other words, it's like I'm playing two-hand touch football in somebody else's backyard, and I'm not sure exactly what the rules are. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to tackle or slap somebody inadvertently. But let me go to this. It's been piecemeal, mostly because I got this right. I've got projects that I'm working on, and this is one of them. This is a Harley Davidson freewheeler back end. On a lot of Harley Davidson trikes, there's a trunk lid that comes off, which would be very convenient. I would be able to take this piece off. It's maybe about like this big, unscrew it, and put it on my easel at home, and hack away at it. The way that this particular bike is shaped, what you see taped off here is just an area that I'm working on, and I'm going to be clearing over and then polishing. I'm doing this process in a non-traditional way, but it still has to get done. And it's one of the things about this project that I'm trying to make this as big as possible. I don't think I can go any bigger than that. Yeah. So what it's supposed to be is a night scene with a full moon and our headless horseman. We're supposed to have a headless horseman here. I don't know if you can see. I don't have an arrow there. A headless horseman that is not on a horse, but is on a version of the trike that I'm actually painting this on. You'll see that happen a lot of times. Somebody will get a portrait or some design work on the tailgate of a truck that they restored from a 1940s, 1950s, and they found it in a field, rusting away, and they brought this thing back to life. On one side of the tailgate, you'll see the before, and on the other side of the tailgate, you'll see an illustration of the actual truck as the after. And this is kind of the same thing. So it's almost the same picture with better lighting. I kind of sketched out with the airbrush, and then I put in, this is a day 2 of airbrush. I'm still trying to lay things out. The bridge has to be going over something, so we're going over a trench or a small creek or river or whatever. But these are all things that I was instructed to put in. Put in the trike. It's a headless horseman. It's at night. We've got I know about the this whole covered bridge has to be there. And of course, in a country setting like this, you've got horse fences and trees. Now, this is when I came in to do a Bob Ross part. get the grass in, try to get the color so that everything can be seen, but it still kind of looks like it's at night. My personal opinion, it feels to me like the trees in the midground are too contrived. I might have to go in with some other color and play around with that and try to random things up. But today, I got to this part here where I actually get the fencing in, I get the bridge in where I like it, and things are really starting to come together. I was doing this today. I've been chipping away at it, but fortunately, I've got my Christmas schedule is not the same as everybody's in the house. I am fortunate. The company that I work for, my 8-hour day job, does a Christmas shutdown, so I get basically from Christmas Eve until the next working day of the new year off. And I usually use that time to catch up on projects. This mess back here, the one I just showed you on the screen, and although I'm not actively looking for these projects, I still end up saying yes to some people. I've been doing this for a while, so let's see, application window again. And this is another one. This is a front fender. Now, I'm not working on this. This is the damaged front fender. I neglected to get pictures of the American flag portion that I was doing, but rest assured, the American flag portion and the flames, I had composed that mask on the computer, painted that in, and you can see where I've been trying to put my eagle. I've changed this up a bit, adding detail, and then putting in some gold leaf. Now, today, right, and that is the, yeah, it's basically it's the same thing, but the lighting's not as good. I took this into the booth to get cleared, so I want to protect the gold on here. So I cleared it. I'm gonna sand it. That way, any of the further artwork that I do to this outlining, there's some lettering that goes up over the top. This is in memory of piece. Somebody on the I don't believe this is a VFD, in the Finleyville Fire Department, passed away. The fender got wrecked, and the bike shop that I've been working with for a while, since I started doing this stuff, asked me to not so much reproduce, but revive this piece because it's very special to this person. So happy to do it. But it's another ball in the air. What are you going to do? Right. So I tell you what, something else. It makes working on this stuff kind of hard to do. Is that I'm always trying to listen to an audio book. Lately, it's been news. I've been listening to what's going on. I was going to say listen to what's going on with this election, but then I would have to, and here's where my true colors come out, I would have to cop to the idea that what we had on the 3rd of November was an actual election. I do not believe that's the case. I don't know if YouTube is going to be looking through videos of somebody who doesn't have any viewers with the fine-tooth comb in order to get rid of this video and whatever. That's fine because I'm just ranting to nobody anyways. But holy crap. One of the there's two things happening here. One, I can't believe that I saw what I actually saw, and the more information that comes out makes what happened even more and more obvious. And then two, the sheer numbers of people who are either unable to or unwilling to understand what is happening in the world around them. The cognitive dissonance is amazing to me. I've never seen a crime as large as this, perpetrated on an entire nation with the media complicit. Um, it's it's amazing. It's the biggest. It's the biggest thumb in someone's face in at least 80 million people's faces. Um, Amazing to me. And that's one of the things. I don't want to say it's not like totally responsible for me not having the ability to concentrate on what I do outside of my job, but I mean, I have enough projects and little enough time to do them where I mean, I could. I mean, it doesn't take much to make my well, what do you want to call it? My procrastination bone tingle. Anyways, I have a vinyl install that I'm going to be doing for a friend's work truck, a friend fender of the trike, and I want to try to get it all done by the time the Sunday is over with. And I'm not sure that's going to happen because the entire time I'm doing that, I'm working on the thing that I would rather be doing, which is my story, my book, and my characters. And like I had mentioned before, I don't consider myself to be a writer, so I reached out to Julius. I reached out to Julius Freeman. What I should say is this: I reached out to some writers, and Julius Freeman was kind enough to say, "I'll help." And I'm not just learning about writing; I'm learning about how to deal with a writer because I know it's not something that I should be. It's not a rabbit hole that another rabbit hole that I need to be crawling down. But at the same time, it is a story that's special to me. So how do I not try to make it the best it can be from the very beginning? You put not knowing what you're doing, but knowing what you want together with somebody who does know what they're doing, and and having the first time I've ever really collaborated with anybody on anything. Like I can't remember the last time I did a piece of artwork or worked on a project with somebody where I was in a creative collaboration with them. Having somebody paint a bike part, tank fender, or car hood or whatever, and prep it so they can send it to me to do artwork and then send it back is not a collaboration. It's not two minds meeting on a creative level. There's a craft to it that needs to be paid attention to, but it's not the same thing. So I'm kind of stealing myself while I'm working on this project. I'm turning 4 pages into 8. I'm writing over a summary, and the whole time thinking to myself, I know where I want this to go, but in what Julius and I have been doing is, well, he'll send me a summary, or I'll send him. Whoever starts it off, everything starts off in black, and then when it comes back, all the corrections are in a different color. And I'm seeing a lot more of my color than I am of his color. And what's going on in the back of my head is this: one, is it normal? And two, if it was me, if I had taken the time to write something for someone, and then they, not by way of correction, but it's like if somebody's driving and somebody else is given directions, and I am of the opinion, and I could be wrong. This is all me projecting. That's all this is. If I was driving and somebody was giving me directions, and it was as many directions as I feel like I'm giving somebody, I would feel like saying, "When are we going to get there?" Because not that it's taking forever, but it's like, you said that we were going to go to point A. Now we're going to go to point L, and and anyways, it's a whirlwind of thoughts while I'm working on a story where um, I just I don't write, and furthermore, I don't write for comics, but I do know that I want to get this done, and I do know that I want it to be X, and in not Y, and the whole time that I'm working on it with somebody else making it what it's supposed to be. I'm more worried. I feel like I'm more worried about the etiquette than I should be. And this is usually what happens is that the person that I'm dealing with will be like, "No, that's fine." Like I've had this happen to me when I'm working on a piece for somebody else. The more creative freedom I have, the happier that I am. And now I'm in a position where I'm taking what they gave me and I'm moving it around so much that I feel like when I give it back and say no, what I meant was this in not so many words, is that I mean art is a personal thing, and I'm afraid that it's going to be taken personal, and so whatever. So how's your Christmas? My Christmas, I got a big fat canister of peanut M&Ms for my youngest daughter. I got some comic books from my wife. I got a lot of cool stuff from a lot of cool people, mostly my kids and my wife, and everything was reciprocated. But I always feel like for the last couple of years, ever since I've been at this job, that I've been getting the not just by virtue of having the time off. I feel like I'm rubbing it in everybody's face that doesn't have it. They go to they go to work the day after Christmas, and I don't. So part of me, working on this stuff is I want to stay busy. um, so, anyways, while I'm going down that rabbit hole, what is it like to write? And I'm standing up. I'm at a point in the story where I'm taking a big shift away from what's been given me, and I don't know how I feel about it, about the actual like the action of it. So I take a break. I go over to YouTube, and I think it's somewhere around the 2 minute mark. I'm watching this Comic Artist Pro Secrets, talking about the Jack Snyder cut, and I think it's like around 157. I don't know if anybody can hear this, but
creative person myself.
Okay.
I want to warn against messing around too much with your art.
Right there. As a creative person myself, I want to warn you against messing around too much with my art, with your art, or whatever. So I'm done. I've been writing and editing, and it's just this weird thing. I actually typed out to my writer. I was like, "This is really weird. You can really get lost in your own story." And I'm coming up with and trying to relate to these characters that I'm making, and I want the pieces to fit together. They don't have to be in a super realistic way, but I don't want somebody looking at the plot and seeing either something that could or should have happened, and again, it's going to be me projecting, because I know I do that. And you kind of like, I don't want to like you Monday morning quarterback somebody's story, like you're watching a movie and you're like, well, why did that hot blonde go take a shower at 2 o'clock in the morning after she just saw on the news that there's a serial killer running loose? Plot hole. Like I don't want that stuff to happen. I'm not even saying that that's happening. But the more I get into the intricacies of the plot, the more I'm asking myself, is that something that somebody would do? Is that something that a human being would do? And I'm trying to be a really good, because it's a piece of fiction. It's not real. So I'm just trying to be a really good liar with this stuff. Like, whoever picks this book up is going to believe that something like this could happen. Now, that does not mean that they have to believe that somebody could fly. I'm not taking it to that extent. And it's not even one of those books. There is going to be some kind of a we are going to be messing with the laws of physics so that specific weapons and characters, they can be cool. You know what I mean? If your guy is not superhumanly strong, he can't kick that kind of ass. Even Batman is. You have to take leave of your senses somewhere, but there has to be continuity, and I'm trying to get the characters to be real. Anyways, you can hear me ranting about this, so I'm writing to my writer and telling him, "Oh my God, I'm getting lost in this story," and then I'm like, "Excuse me." So I go upstairs and get something to drink, come back downstairs, and I'm just like going through, YouTube and Twitter and stuff like that, taking a little break, trying to get inspired. And this is what comes across from EVS. I would be a warning.
I want to warn against messing around too much with your art, spending too long noodling with it, monkeying with it, fixing it. Same kind of thing happened with Brian Wilson when he was trying to make his Smile album.
Right. And then immediately I can see John Cusack playing and Paul Dano playing Brian Wilson in what was it? I know it's the Beach Boys movie, Love and Something, or Hearts and Something. But you know the one I'm talking about. And that character was pathetic. Now, I'm not afraid that I'm going to go there. The only thing I'm really afraid of is that I realize that the more details and fingers I try to put in to whatever dike of a story I originally constructed, that I'm turning something from a 22-page book to a 48-page book to a 60 whatever, and that part's fine with me as long as the story is good. Because I honestly don't know if I'm going to be doing something like this again. I know that I just need to get this one out, and I'll probably kill myself by not ending it in a definitive enough manner to where it can be its own self-contained story. So, anyways, let's see what else he has to say.
To follow up Pet Sounds. Well, it ended up driving him kind of cuckoo. He didn't know when to stop, and it became such a pretentious debacle that it never came out until, it was supposed to come out in like 1968. It ended up coming out in like 2008 or something like that. Much.
So there's some details about music that I don't listen to. It went from, am I doing this too much, to, hey, it's weird how writing like this can do that to you, to, don't mess with your stuff too much. Okay, great, thanks. Well, let me throw these headphones on and make sure that the entire world, who eventually will be watching this video, I know nobody's watching it now, but, let's have some faith. It's 4:33. I'm usually going to bed at this time through the week because I have a late shift, but is it rude to eat M&Ms on camera? Anyways, I'm just, Oh, are you seriously? This isn't working? That's working.
You can't rush art.
Oh, technical difficulties. Oh.
You want something out of life, you got to put yourself out there.
So I'm putting myself out there. Why did it do that? That made absolutely no sense. It's not even supposed to be that loud.
You want something out of life, you got to put yourself out there.
At any rate, the story that I'm working on, I knew that I should try to make it simple, and I'm not trying to be like super vague about it, but just to give you the bones, um, I'm trying to come up with a story where somebody has such a bad day after such a bad life that they finally semi snap, and in where they have to do they have to do incredible feats, use everything that they've learned up until this point to achieve a goal based on not trusting anybody or very very few people, but not trusting those that which this isn't even really my personality at all, but we're dealing with a crooked government, crooked law enforcement, and this guy's got nowhere else to go in order to get his daughter back, but to go crazy on purpose. I don't know if that makes any sense. There is more coming. Now, I've only been on for like 26 minutes, and that's fine with me.
You can't rush art.
I don't want to be on forever. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I wanted to say, it's weird how stuff happens. First you have the thought. It's like, when you buy a car, you recognize it so much that you start seeing that car on the street everywhere you go. I'm having the thought that maybe I'm, doing too much writing on this thing. It's a lot of fun and I don't want to stop. But I got to a place where I have to make like a major change, and now I'm worried about what it's going to do to the relationship. And am I trying to do something that's way too ambitious for a first timer? And a lot of different stuff happening. Like, yes, I'm an artist, but do I know how to work sequentially? And am I going to have time to, sit down and turn this into a place? I mean, like, I have a place to draw, but there's a lot happening here. There's a lot of balls in the air, not the least of which is my family and my job, and the work on the side. It's a constant wrestling match inside my head. So I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna call it at 2740, and this is the Comic Artist Evolution, and it's a tough one. Comic Artist Evolution. This is IDC for CAE, and I'm DAVE. You guys have a good DAY.